Well, I'm officially freelance, but I'm on a contract with the BBC, with BBC Sport. So I do a few days a month in Salford, where BBC Sport is based. And that's mainly in sports news. So you might see me popping up on the 10 o'clock news at the weekend, talking about what's been going on in the world of sport that weekend. But aside from that, I work in lots of other areas of sport, and I have a production company. So I'm making a film at the moment, a series actually, about horse riders, about amateur horse riders. And then I'm going to be doing something for BBC Sport on horses again at a big event at the end of August. So my job kind of is quite varied, really. I can't really see a difference between sport and other areas of broadcast. I mean, I suppose the thing for me is that what I love about sport in terms of TV is that there's so much passion and emotion there. As long as you get some good music and some interesting pictures, you can always make a hit, even if it's a 50-second montage into grandstand in the old days, or if we're doing something for our Saturday Sports Day programme on BBC One on Saturdays. So I just love the passion behind sport, and the highs and the lows and the emotion, and you don't even need narration, you don't even need presenters, as long as you've got pictures and music. It's just a wonderful genre. I think it's been rapid, hasn't it? The change has been absolutely incredible. There are so many more women in power now than there used to be across the world, and let alone in sport. And I'm not like a raving feminist, but equally, you know, it's wonderful to not be the only girl in the office, and to not be the only woman sort of trying to pioneer for change and trying to make the industry better. And yeah, they're everywhere. I mean, I still think there's a way to go, actually. I mean, there might be more women on air, but there still aren't that many women behind the scenes. And it's great that Sport England has a female CEO in Jenny Price. That's fantastic. And it's great that the Sport and Recreation Alliance has a female CEO. But I think in broadcast, there's still a long way to go behind the scenes. I mean, I have various mantras in my production life, which is feed the crew and everything will be great. But in terms of my own career, I haven't really had any specific advice. I think it's just work hard. You've got to be thick-skinned, and you've got to work hard. If you're a woman in sport, full stop, actually, regardless of whether you're actually involved in broadcasting, I think you have to love sport. You have to want to be in it. It irritates me when women are pushed into sport because people think there should be more women in sport, but they don't have the passion that I have. I find that irritating. So if you're going to be there, you've got to be there for a reason. And luckily, there are loads of us now who love sport and don't. You know, we're not ticking boxes. We're here because we're good and we know what we're talking about and we love sport. Yes, of course, technology has changed sport, but in terms of broadcasting, it's massively changed it. I mean, we can do lives now with people on their iPhones. They haven't even got somebody else holding it for them. They're doing it themselves, and we can really be at the heart of the action all over the world. So I've seen it as a broadcaster. I've seen technology really change sports broadcasting. And Periscope Lives, I did a Periscope Live with Graham McDowell from the Open Championship last year, and that sort of stuff, you know, it's exciting. And social media and Twitter, and I go to events where they've got particularly poor Wi-Fi, but I can keep up to date with what's going on via Twitter. I think there's definitely a danger that social media can possibly mean that people don't get paid as much to do sports journalism, therefore there may be fewer sports journalists. However, I don't think it would mean it's watered down, if that isn't a contradiction, because actually the very opposite. Anyone who puts a comment on Twitter is usually not watered down at all. They usually really mean what they're saying. Now, it may be extreme and it may be offensive in some cases, but it's what they think. So I think that we get a stronger view of what people really think if we've got the time to wade through it, and that's the problem. There's such volume of social media comment. It's knowing where to find the really good stuff. But there'll always be a place for good journalists and good sports journalism.